New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science. With Rev Joy Fletcher, Rev Jeff Radcliff, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Divine Science Everywhere and the New Thought Media Network. Divine Science Everywhere features divine science ministers and New Thought guests discussing divine principles and the practice of the divine. I am Rev Joy Fletcher, also known as Joyful, and I am the president of Divine Science Ministers Association, a lifetime member of INTA, as well as an executive board member of INTA and a member of ANTN. We welcome you here today and so glad that you are joining us. I'd like to introduce Rev Jeff Radcliff.
Hi, I'm Rev Jeff. Let's see, lifetime member of International New Thought Alliance, lifetime member of Affiliated New Thought Network, lifetime member of Divine Science Federation International, lifetime member of the Divine Science Ministers Association. I can keep going if you like. Look for me on Facebook, Giati Ministries, Giati Ministries, and you'll see all the cool stuff that I post there. And I call him my boss. I don't know that I can actually refer to you as my boss, but you got me ordained. So Bishop Durrell.
I am Durrell Watkins. I am the parish minister, the senior minister of the Sunshine Cathedral, a church that has multiple affiliations, including the Divine Science Federation. I am the current president of Divine Science Federation International. And we say current because we have term limits. And so I'm in my last 2-year term, at the end of which will be 6 years. And then someone else has to do it for a while. We're volunteer-led. And we take turns doing it. So that's our the way we do things. I'm also a life member of the International New Thought Alliance, a member of the Divine Science Ministers Association. I am an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute. I'm the dean of the Samaritan Institute, which is a divine science ministry school and the religious education arm of the Sunshine Cathedral. So those are some of the things I've got going on. And of course, we all share this ministry here on the New Thought Media Network, sharing divine science everywhere. And we do believe that divine science, or that is divine wisdom, divine knowing, divine mind, is everywhere. There's one thing, one substance, one presence, one power, and we can call it all kinds of things, one spirit, and it is everywhere, fully present. And so we call that divine science. There's 100 other things to call it, but there's this divine something, and we experience it, we share it, we are it, and it is everywhere. There's not a spot where it is not. And that includes, that is a seamless segue that includes the divine science, divine presence, divine power is even on the ocean, on the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. So I want to tell you about an exciting opportunity for New Thought practitioners, students, and really anyone at all. We're charting a new course. The Divine Science Federation International and the Divine Science Ministers Association invite you to join us from November the 2nd to November the 6th. Write that down. November the 2nd to November the 6th, 2025, as we gather aboard the Ultra Deluxe MSC Seashore for 5 days and 4 nights for our first of its kind retreat. Both organizations together on the water for a retreat. It's going to be so much fun. Sailing from Port Canaveral, Florida, with ports of call in Nassau and Paradise Island in the Bahamas, and MSC's private multi-million-dollar island, Ocean Cay. Guests will get the chance to renew old friendships and make new ones as we deepen our understanding of new thought through meditating and meeting and relaxing. We will be charting a new course. All of this for a starting price of only $299, just $299, with additions available to make this retreat perfect for you. For more information or to reserve your spot, visit divinesciencefederation.org and click on events. Now, before we get into some rowdy conversation, because we have a super rowdy guest, let's take a quick commercial break here at Divine Science Everywhere on New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to the Convention of the Americas 2025, Rising Together. Join us for a truly bilingual retreat experience on the shores of the beautiful Lake Chapala, Mexico. July 22nd through July 26th, 2025, at the Hotel Villa Monte Carlo in Jalisco, Mexico. Featuring Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, Dr. Jose de Lira Sosa, Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, and Reverend Dr. David Bruner. Registration is now open, and payment plans are available. Simply visit www.conventionoftheamericas.com. Come be part of a transformative gathering with powerful presentations, workshops, networking time, and just good old relaxing and connecting. Plus, you can learn more about the science of mind and how to live this powerful philosophy in your life. Transform your life at Convention of the Americas 2025, Rising Together.
Well, welcome back.
I think we're back. Yeah.
We've got a fun show today, and being a former professional broadcaster, I was in radio for several years. I love being able to do stuff like this, and so I'm glad that we're sharing this journey together. And I'm looking forward to our guest today.
Yes. Well, shall we begin a few moments of centering, just centering. Because we know that focusing on the divine makes things seem smooth. Emmett Fox said, "I and the Father are one, and if I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even thy hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me." Now he's quoting a psalm. He's also reminding us in another piece in his writing that God, or the divine science, is not the author of confusion, but of peace. He also suggests when your knees are knocking together and you don't know which way to turn, think of God and its goodness. So let's take a few moments and know that we all have instilled within us a vision, a purpose, the reason that we have chosen to incarnate and be here, right now. Each of us has been given a gift to share. My gift may be different than yours, and yet each gift is equal in value. And all of us come together and contribute our gifts to support one another, to help guide and comfort one another on our path and help us to fulfill a higher purpose and our soul development. There is within you a vision, a purpose. This was seeded into you from before you were formed in your mother's womb. And this is meant to flourish. So we use our thoughts, our energy, to help grow and nourish this seed into a beautiful expression of the divine. I invite you to think about your dreams, your vision, your purpose. And know that if this passion is within you, there are tools and there is help to assist you to manifest this vision, this purpose, this dream. In fact, you are the very expression of this dream, of this divine. We're so thankful for everyone that has come upon our path and everything that has occurred, every experience that has helped to mold and shape us and bring us to this moment. Nothing is by accident. Everything shall serve as a purpose. Even when things seem to be dark, even when doors seem to close, they're not really. For on the other side, the light is revealed. So let us hold tight and trust that this is the absolute trust, the absolute truth, and that the divine expresses through us, as us, and for us, in all, through all, as all. And so it is, and so it shall be forevermore. Amen.
Yes.
So it is my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce our guest today. Dr. Robert Brzezinski, Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, holds a master's in consciousness studies from Holmes Institute and a doctorate of divinity from Emerson Institute. He is an ordained minister of religious science and considers himself a lifelong student of transformational leadership. He is the current spiritual and creative director of New Thought Media Network and spiritual director for the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley Teaching Center. He serves on the board of directors for the affiliated New Thought Network and the executive board for the International New Thought Alliance. Dr. Robert is passionate about building spiritual community in the physical and virtual worlds. He has been answering calls to support individuals and organizations along the journey of enlightenment. He is a dynamic spiritual leader, passionate professional speaker, and New Thought visionary. So we welcome Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski.
Hello. There we are. Hello, dear ones.
Hey.
Hey, it's nice to have you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We've done this the past couple of weeks. It's just been the three of us. You're our very first guest.
Aha. Well, I love that. Thank you. That's I appreciate that, and it's an honor. And it's not often I have my own shows on the network, and I get to produce a few things on the network, but it's not always often that I get to be a guest on another show on the network. So thank you guys for having me all in today.
Yes. Well, we're excited to have you here, and I'd love to hear about your journey and what brought you into the decision to manifest the New Thought Media Network.
The journey, I shared this recently. The journey is the destination. Right? I think many of us have probably heard that or some similar quote to that. And yet, when I look back on my experience of discovering, if you will, for myself at least, the science of mind, and then the bigger implications of what that meant as far as new thought and what a deeper sense of calling would be, I can really see where the vision has been there from the very, very beginning. Even before I was ready to accept it, even before I was ready to surrender to it, and definitely before I recognized it. However, the modern experience of it is really born from COVID. Now, again, the seeds were there. And Bishop Durrell, I had heard your name through a colleague prior to that, and you know, God, it's amazing what this guy is doing, and the numbers he's getting, and these clicks, and those, this, that, and the other thing, but it yet wasn't. You hadn't yet become a clarion call for me that you are now, but as the pandemic just like surprise, I happened to be in a point where my ministry was already in transformation. My life was already in transformation. And I had already actually taken a step backwards. I had already taken a step in retreat almost. And the pandemic said no to everything. But as I've been talking about recently as well, in that crisis, there is opportunity. And the opportunity was there to say, hey, people don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But together we can rely on the principles that we teach, which first and foremost is prayer. And so New Thought Media Network really was born in March, April, May of 2020, as I and a couple of dear colleagues started to experiment with how are we going to do virtual ministry. And that's when things started clicking, like, somebody told you about this guy in Florida that was doing like big numbers. Maybe you should go pay attention to what he's doing a little something, or start paying attention to what other people are doing. And I think it was a great opportunity, and still remains, for New Thought to, in all of our wonderful ways. I have to make my admissions. I'm on the board of everything, but I'm not a lifetime member of anything either. So you all have these lifetimes in there. I'm like, man, I need that in my bio. Need to figure out how to get that word rowdy in my bio there too. But so the ministry was born from the vision and the necessity. Kind of where world's great passion, the world's great need, and my great passion just sort of kind of fell in top of each other. And that's been 5 years now.
Wow. That's incredible. And you found you discovered a way, or you were led to a way to be creative, to address a challenge. What a great lesson that is for all of us.
I would like to know, this is a broadcasting ministry. Do you have a background in broadcasting?
No.
Nice.
You were learning this as you went along then, right?
Pretty much, yes. There is a little caveat to that story. It's a great question, Jeff. Thank you for asking that. As I was coming out of high school and living in New Jersey, I auditioned for a broadcast school. I forget which one it was. It was fairly prestigious. It was in New Jersey, but they dealt a lot with New York media. And the promise was really that if you got accepted to this school, there would be nothing to stand between you and main media. And I did very well, and they were very interested to have me. And if there's any one main theme of a challenge in my life, it is my relationship with finances and money. And I wouldn't let myself believe, I fully believed I was good enough, but I wouldn't let myself believe that I could take the financial risk, and that I should take that financial step and that financial risk. Did that save me from a lot of late night binges and on all kinds of substances in the middle of New York City as a media personality? Maybe, but I just did that as a hippie instead. So it's I believe the essence, the truth of it was always within me in broadcasting. There's always been that desire, and this was again the time where things just kind of all sort of came together and said, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, and really much of the vision was there. I have visioning notes from 2009 that describe a public radio station in like a strip mall, and out front, glass walls always are there in those little strip mall spaces, and let people look in as you do a public style radio station that's all based around spirituality. And now New Thought Radio is a reality on the internet, and we broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with positive music from all of your favorite positive artists and pop artists and contemporary artists. And if it's good, positive music, has a fun message, we'll get it up there. So it's been fun to be led. It's been fun to surrender into, oh my God, I have no idea how you want me to do this, but you're asking me to do it, so let's go.
I have a two-part question for you. So I'll give you A first. I'm gonna save B, but when you're done with A, I've got B for you.
Okay.
The first, when COVID hit and Sunshine Cathedral started doing, we'd always had a little YouTube channel, and we'd edit everything down to the sermon and post it like Sunday night, Monday, never live. And if we got 60 clicks that week, we excited. And the Christmas Eve before COVID hit, just on a whim, we just put up a phone and live stream to Facebook the whole thing. And it got 250 hits that night, and by the end of the week, it was 1,000. We thought we were NBC. We just thought we were so excited, and then over the next couple of months, we brought in professionals and started doing things properly, and really took off. But mostly with Facebook. Right. YouTube was slow growth. While we were doing really just thousands, explosive growth on Facebook, our 60 grew to 100 and 120 on it was, and then finally YouTube really took off. But it was, people have to be looking for it on YouTube, so it's just a harder way to find or whatever. We finally got there. And so when people are sad about, I'm like, oh, don't be sad, just keep going, because YouTube it just takes a minute. But so we were doing that, and then the world shut down. And so we were doing it, but I'm looking for other people so that I get, ideas. And so I found Unity in Nashville. They were sort of doing it just on the computer there. He would give a little daily talks and prayers or whatever. He's not there anymore. I found Raymond. He would do these like performative, like almost choreographed lessons and prayers, and they were fabulous. And I found Houston, a Unity Church in Houston, and she was amazing. In fact, I think she had an acting background. So I'm piecing these things together. I found a Swedenborgian church on the radio business, on the podcast, and I'm listening to the Christian Scientists, and I'm just piecing together between podcast and YouTube and Facebook. And that's before I knew about New Thought Media Network, and maybe it was just in their beginning days anyway. Yeah. And you have put together what I was trying to find one piece at a time, trying to just quilt together a little New Thought life for myself on the interwebs. And you've put it all together, brought all these voices together, and put them out. One easy place to find them all, one-stop shopping. Was that on purpose? So that was always the plan, to bring all these voices and get them out. Yes. Well, that is a huge gift. So yes. Talk about how that happened.
part of that happens, in my case, from what I call an interesting relationship with my mother church or my home organization, let's call it. Not even my mother church, my home church, because that's different. But in this movement of New Thought, I had an interesting journey and an interesting relationship with the powers that be at CSL. There's no question about it. It's pretty well known and fairly well documented in places that most of us are not allowed to read. So that's what it is. So there had always been something that said there had to be more. And in our education through CSL, we're made aware of unity and divine science, and but none of it really makes, I think Rev Dr. Tim Stewart shared it with me this way, and it makes a lot of sense. When you walk into New Thought, wherever you walk in, you find home. Mm-hmm. And it's so amazing, and it's so attractive, and it's so transformative that there's no need to ever look anywhere further. So even though at CSL we're taught that there is unity and there's divine science and these three branches come together, that's cool, but I don't need that. I got religious science. I got the place that I found. And for me, I kind of equate it now to that is my high school. Mm. And some people finish high school, they get the education they need from their high school, and they go on to college and do well and go out into the world. And some go to college and don't do so well and come back home. And some never leave home and just stay in their high school and are still contributing to their high school and teaching other things in their high school. And all of these various aspects are good. But I was always the guy that kind of said, like, where's a ticket to get me on the train, put me on the bus, give me another ticket to another concert, and let's explore all that life has to offer. And when I got to New Thought, the same became true. Let's explore. And coming out of the pandemic, coming out of my dark night and into the pandemic, let's explore what's out there. So New Thought Radio already had the vision of encompassing all the various branches and family trees and tribes and communities and evolutions that we are. And as I looked at what's that next bigger step, it was just obvious to exclude anybody in the New Thought movement is just malpractice at that point. So one of the things I love about the three of you is that you bring divine science, but not just as a name. You each bring a rich experience of that branch of the philosophy that I don't have. My formative years were spent learning Ernest Holmes and religious science. I don't have as deep an understanding of if this were three unity ministers. And it's been a conscious effort all the way along. How do we include more of the breadth of New Thought and not just be the CSL channel? I didn't want to be the CS, and I didn't even want to be the SOM channel. I really felt we needed to be New Thought. And that's my key. That's my call now, is I'm challenging communities and ministries around the planet to add a simple tagline to their name that says a New Thought community. So nobody loses their identity. Unity of so-and-so, this of there, we can all keep our identity, but we can also let the world know that we really are all in this together.
Well, I like it. I do. And here's part B, that you have music, and you have teaching, and you have chat shows and talks like this is going on, and what's the other thing? Oh, prayer. You've got prayer shows. So if somebody, they want to do that, like they have a special take on prayer, or they've got a special, they think they have a message they want to teach or whatever, and they try it maybe without you or maybe with you, and they are, they're not NBC. What do you say to them so that they don't give up too soon? Because guess what? Good luck if you are. I mean, wonderful you are, but you're probably not NBC the first 6 weeks. So what do you say to those people to keep them going, that what they're doing is good and it's going to grow into something else, but even as it is, it's good, and don't give up. Unless I'm wrong, and then you can say, oh yeah, you're steering them wrong. They should give up today. I mean, whatever your advice is.
Somewhere years ago, a minister opened a church, and in a conversation with another colleague of mine, I was kind of questioning this person's judgment. Why would you open a church at this point? Why would you open a church in that location? Why would you open a church with the history that person has with churches? Why? And my colleague, very lovingly, she looked at me, she said, yes, and why would you want to piss on somebody's parade? Mm-hmm. And I realized, there's something that goes even deeper into that. Because you're right, I don't. And I do think I have a unique way of helping people to see that bigger picture, that we're not just putting on a show. Mm-hmm. Somebody's life's going to be transformed from that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what the number says of viewers on this show when it happens live, because I've seen shows that jump huge numbers over time. Bishop Durrell, I see you nodding your head. I'm sure you have as well in your ministry. Mm-hmm. We don't understand why something takes off, but it does. This is an opportunity to demonstrate, I believe, our individual belief in what New Thought teaches from whichever branch we come from, mm-hmm. and demonstrate that we really believe this stuff. This stuff really works. And it's not just creating churches anymore. Mm-hmm. It is now time for this philosophy to be in the boardroom, and it is time for this philosophy to be mainstream media, and it is time for this philosophy. And we've been really good at writing books, right? We got publishers all over the place. We're really good at writing books. Mm-hmm. But earlier today, I'm watching a seminar that happens that's an online seminar with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins and all these guys, right? And Matthew McConaughey is on here today, and he is going off in this interview, and I'm just sitting there going, this is all pretty basic New Thought, if you ask me. Yeah. You're doing a great job of presenting it. And in the comments, somebody put, this guy should have his own church. And I'm like, why does he need his own church? I mean, if Matthew McConaughey came to me and said, hey, I want to start a church, how do I go about it? I'd say, don't, right? Doing what you're doing.
Right.
And so if somebody isn't having the success they want, double down on our practice, turn back to principle.
Yes.
Where in our own belief system are we limiting? Mm-hmm. And Matthew said it earlier. He said, for me, it comes down to just belief. That's it. That's all it's about. One word, belief. Well, that and love. And I'm like, man, I want this on recording. Where do I show this to other people? So we come back down to that place that says, this is what I believe. And if I can talk with someone that's having a bad day or a bad show, mm-hmm. or whatever it is that doesn't seem to be going right or according to plan, let's double down on our practice. Let's get into a little more prayer work. Let's go beyond those limiting beliefs and open up to something greater. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll tell you, there's about 1 million reasons I shouldn't be sitting here today. Mm-hmm. saying I sit at the front of the table with this organization, but I didn't let any one of them stop us.
Right. That's fabulous.
I might not have had a choice in the early stages.
Yeah.
I might not have a choice today, but sorry.
If I may, I would love to ask you something. You talked about how this came out of COVID. Back in the early 2000s, the church is no longer there. Living Enrichment Center in Oregon had New Thought Broadcasting, and that goes way back. That was one of the gateways to me getting New Thought teaching. When I was back in West Virginia, there was no New Thought anything, and so they were there to provide unity and religious science ministers. Their talks were broadcast, and I got to sit at the feet, quote unquote, virtually, of some very fascinating teachers. It all went away back in, like I said, in the early 2000s. And so it was 15 years until you came along. I don't know if you were aware of them or not back in the day, but you picked up a mantle. You picked up the thread that they started and were not able to complete. And you are really weaving a tapestry that is incredible to watch, because once again, we get to sit at the feet of teachers all over, and get different perspectives. And I just love that. But I don't know if you were, had been aware of them back in the day or not, and whether that might have planted the seed.
In some ways, yes. I first found religious science in 2000, straight up in 2000, or 2001. And so not immediately, and over time, again, I used to joke that I'm an early adopter and a heavy user of anything technologically. So I remember running around in Yahoo chat rooms. Luckily, I don't use that handle any longer. But I remember being always trying to be on that front edge of where tech was going, if nothing else, for amusement and fun and entertainment. And once I found myself in New Thought and in learning religious science, there was a natural search for those things. And I don't remember all the names, but I've watched a few different attempts at internet radio and a few different groups here and there come and go. There's been attempts at Roku channels and other avenues and other efforts to bring New Thought into the media world. Truthfully, everything that I've seen and my understanding is they all have failed for one simple common reason: money. Mm-hmm. Hit the donate button, please, folks. ntmedia.org. Hit on the donate button, right? That has been what's held those groups back. So I've been aware of some things, and even today, even since COVID, Unity Radio was doing pretty well, it seemed, and I think it was mostly just clarifying money and making sure that things got put in the right buckets as the Unity movement is sort of reorganizing itself. Because many of what was Unity Radio have now moved into other avenues of presenting media. And so we can all go it alone and all be kind of sticks in the mud out there alone, or go together. And
together's more fun.
It's a lot more fun to go together. Exactly.
Well, right. It's time to take a break, take a little breath here. You are watching Divine Science Everywhere on New Thought Media Network. We're going to take a couple minutes break and be right back.
Welcome to the Convention of the Americas 2025, Rising Together. Join us for a truly bilingual retreat experience on the shores of the beautiful Lake Chapala, Mexico. July 22nd through July 26th, 2025, at the Hotel Villa Monte Carlo in Jalisco, Mexico. Featuring Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, Dr. Jose de Lira Sosa, Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, and Reverend Dr. David Bruner. Registration is now open, and payment plans are available. Simply visit www.conventionoftheamericas.com. Come be part of a transformative gathering with powerful presentations, workshops, networking time, and just good old relaxing and connecting. Plus, you can learn more about the science of mind and how to live this powerful philosophy in your life. Transform your life at Convention of the Americas, 2025, Rising Together.
Welcome back to Divine Science Everywhere on New Thought Media Network. We're enjoying a conversation with our friend and founder of New Thought Media Network, Rev Dr. Robert Brzezinski. Listening to you talk, I was thinking about the value of connection through this experience of New Thought Media Network. The connection, there's this excitement and that occurs when we connect with someone that it feels like we have similar belief systems, or that we're someone that's on our path to teach us, or we're the teacher. It goes on simultaneously. So there's just something exciting, like, oh boy, we're connected and we have so much in common, which we do in reality with everyone. It just seems to be a little bit more obvious in a setting like this.
Yes. It's been 5 years, and in that time, I think we're on our third or fourth platform to work towards building a deeper sense of that community as well. In our media, it can be very easy to be very one direction. Here I am and talking to you, and if you chime up and chat along and drop a comment, we're going to respond. And but a lot of media beyond ours is pre-recorded and it's curated to help people accomplish a goal, learn more about the philosophy. So creating that sense online, but beyond what we're watching or when we're watching it, is another part of the puzzle from my perspective. And it's one that New Thought Media Network, we're constantly looking at and constantly reinventing how we do that, from Zoom rooms to Mighty Network platforms to other private groups. And I think we're seeing a shift in the landscape of social media as it is right now. Facebook is what it is. YouTube has its own unique environment. If you want to go hang out on Twitch or other platforms where you can actually stream shows, and TikTok's really big, even for midlife new thoughters. TikTok is really big right now. I just watched a woman blow up over the last 6 months in a group that I'm a part of, and went from almost nothing to major views on TikTok and repurposing into other platforms, and speaking a message of angels and prosperity and female sexuality all mixed up together. She's got a great channel. So the opportunities are here, I believe, for anyone to help to bring their message to a larger audience through these various platforms. And community is always going to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Let me ask you about community. If you have 4 people watching every week, that's a small group, really. Or if you have 30 people watching every week, that's a small church, really. I mean, that's a lot of churches. That's the size they are on a Sunday. Yeah. And so if you think of it as like a TV show, I don't have hundreds of thousands. But if you have 100, if you have 50, if you have 20, that's a church. Right. And if you have 4, 5, 6, that's a group. And if you think about that as a community, that's actually super important. Those lives, they're looking forward to hearing you. They're looking forward to meeting at the same time. It's virtual church. walls and street addresses just aren't as necessary as they used to be. So if you think of it as ministry, what you're doing might be saving lives. And yeah, we want more and more and more. But what we got isn't nothing. You know what I mean? Wherever we are.
And in a virtual world, I can't expect everybody or any one person to be at everything we do.
Right.
And so be at what you can be at, connect with where you connect and what you enjoy. And then we find ways to get together. And this is truly what I love, what I'm seeing in New Thought over the last handful of years is kind of a resurgence. We had a little lull in-person large gatherings there for obvious reasons, but we're on the rise again. And more places, and it might not be that everybody goes to this one thing and there's thousands of people at this one thing, but if there's 40 or 50 or 100 or 300 at various events throughout the year, one of the things I want New Thought Media Network to be doing is to be documenting these things, to be recording these things and documenting how this movement evolves and grows as we get back together. So that no matter what show you might watch on New Thought Media Network, if you go to an event, we're going to be there. We're going to get you some stickers or a coffee mug. But more importantly, you're going to get to meet the people and connect with the people that are making this happen in the virtual world. We just did an event with the Science of Mind Archives, and there's nothing quite like the first hug with a friend that you've known for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And the very first time you get to hug that person and say hello in person and share a meal, hey, that's transformative.
Yes.
And so we create a bigger world, I think, by creating a more intimate one as well.
I met every single one of you at one of those meetings. For the first time at one of those meetings. And I was at those meetings before New Thought Media Network and after. And the meetings themselves, even in the room, have been enriched by the presence of New Thought Media Network. That's another ministry. It's another presence. It's a different energy. You see them, you know that it's being broadcast. And there's even been times when there's stuff going on in the room that the expertise of those technicians came to the rescue in the room. Like even in the room, it's better because New Thought Media Network is there.
Thank you. Thank you. That reminds me of a great little story. I don't know if I've ever told you this story or not, Bishop Durrell, but first time I walked into your church was for the INTA Congress a few years back now. And we pulled into the driveway, like, nice, like the building, like this, I like this. We walked in and my, Reverend Michael Mangus, your part-time producer here and co-host with Reverend Jeff on Friday nights. We walk in the building and we look around and we look up on the rafters and we look at the cameras on the wall and and we're like, oh, this is going to be easy. I like this. It's going to be fun. And then we start to notice that, wait a minute, this guy's taking the cameras down. What's going on? Oh, yeah, we only bring these in for Sunday, and they go back over to the studio for the rest of the week because we've got a TV studio over here we got to run with these cameras. They're only here on Sunday. We're like, oh, okay. But your team did save us, and your team did contributed to my knowledge that week and contributed to our learning process, if you will, that week, to be able to share those skills and that knowledge down the road with other communities, other organizations, other events. It's really wild to sit back and watch what we're all creating together when we look at it from that perspective.
And I have to tell you, I really appreciate the documentary aspect of New Thought Media Network, capturing these events that maybe if you weren't able to attend, but later on, you're going to be able to go onto the network and you can see the recordings of it. So it's, you get to still participate even if you're not there. And the fact that you open that to everyone to just tune in to see our teachings, no matter what the event is, you're there and you're capturing it for us. And that is awesome. That is tremendous, because you are helping all these other ministries to forward themselves, and so
a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can't expect to lift up my own boat and leave those around me. It doesn't work.
Right.
Boats are pretty heavy to try to lift them on your own. So,
I'm very excited, very passionate right now about the democratization of education, and that's one of the things that your network does too. It makes everything available. Like you get the speakers, you get the books, you get the talks, you get the history, it's just all there. And yes, please do contribute. But even until you do, it's there. I love the democratization of education, and this is making that available to everybody.
Yeah,
I agree. I also am struck by the idea that so many things that we do in life is like a building block to where we are now. And it may seem insignificant at the time that we're going through that experience or we're learning a new skill, but at some point, here we are.
Yeah.
And
I think I love how you're saying the building blocks, because there was a point where I fully believed I was pulpit minister, and that was the avenue to success. And that was how my unique interpretation of this philosophy would reach people. And that is not what it looks like now. There is actually a physical pulpit sitting out in my garage, but that's where it is. It's in the garage, right? And I have a camera and a microphone. It's a room full of technology, and that again is available to everyone. But we build from one step to the next, and this isn't where it ends. The vision keeps pulling, and the vision keeps pulling. And I know we're almost running out of time, but I'm going to talk about that vision for a moment, because I think that's our job too, is to constantly be casting a vision of where we're moving into and where we're moving forward. And I remember when I moved my family from Utah to Colorado to attend ministerial school, I was simultaneously reading Michael Singer's first book, The Untethered Soul. And it was my first introduction to Michael Singer. And along the way, that book always kind of stayed with me. And then eventually Michael, who's kind of a recluse, you didn't hear him much. He did eventually, Oprah did get him to come out and do some interviews and stuff. But it wasn't like he doing a lot of study of Michael Singer. It wasn't like a whole ton of people were following Michael Singer. And he came out with the second book, which is called The Surrender Experiment. And it really does lay out a blueprint of how an individual can lead to a small group of individuals that can lead to radical change when we hold to the vision. And for those that may not know the story, he took a 5-acre piece of property in Arkansas, and it's over 7,000 acres at this point, with the simple principle that if somebody sells property next to ours, we'll buy it. Don't have to know how, don't have to know when, don't have to know what, just we'll buy it. And along the way, for me, what came forward was a vision of an intentional community. And not just a community that's selling organic produce or making candles or running, right? That's all well and good. That's great. And I'm not talking about a 60s commune of give it all up and be broke and just live on the farm and head off to the shows when it's time. And an intentional community that is working towards a specific mission, in this case, New Thought Media Network. And if we're not willing to talk about a vision of what comes next, then there's no possibility it could ever be manifest. So I do see a village, a community. We have a website, newthoughtVillage.org. Nice and easy. Gives you some ideas. I do have properties that I research and that I look at. I do use ChatGPT and other mechanisms to develop business plans and ideas of how this could all work. Because there is somebody in New Thought that could easily drop a few $1 million on a project like this and have it fully funded for the next 5 to 10 years. And in 5 years, I think we've kind of proven what New Thought Media Network can do on a shoestring budget. I have big visions of what we could do with real budgets.
Yes.
To pay people.
Yes.
To take your program and to take this program, because this program is valuable for all the reasons we've been talking about. The history, the knowledge, the sharing of wisdom, the sharing of traditions. There's no reason this shouldn't be on whatever. Well, it's already on New Thought Media Network. So we just want to make us more like, I don't want to say that either. I'd be happy to stand shoulder to shoulder with NBC and CNN. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been just such a fast time together, enjoyable. We really appreciate it and your vision so that we are able to share this with you. And I also want to mention some upcoming shows. Next week, our guest is Reverend Martha Creek. She's well beloved in the New Thought community. I'd also like to acknowledge some May birthdays of our Divine Science ministers. Reverend Craig Harris, his birthday is on the 20th. Reverend Sylvia Erickson, her birthday was the 9th. And Reverend Tony Carol Turman, her birthday is the 26th of May. So thanks so much. And Divine Science everywhere means God in all, through all, as all. And until next time, we are
Divine Science everywhere.
Everywhere. On
Look for
New
us.
Thought Media Network.
Yeah.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.